Since its introduction in 2010, the GMC Terrain has been a lucrative and successful product for General Motors. In combination with its platform mate, the Equinox, in sales, together they're at the top sales spot among compact crossovers. For 2018, the Terrain sees a complete overhaul, improving in many key areas where the last generation was lacking. So let's go ahead and check out and take a closer look at this all-new 2018 GMC Terrain. Based upon the GM D2XX platform, the Terrain shares many mechanical components with the new Equinox and the Envision. With it being nearly identical in size to the Equinox, you'll find the Terrain to be actually a smaller vehicle than its predecessor, with its length measuring at 183.1 inches and width at 72.6 inches. Styling of the Terrain somewhat takes the appearance of the Acadia, but wrapped in a smaller body. The new C-shaped headlamps and floating roof certainly make this vehicle much more interesting to look at and eliminates the brick-like type design of the last generation. Our mid-SLT trim comes with the amenities you would expect out of a modern-day vehicle, with the debut of GM's revamped IntelliLink system, a perforated leather interior, and 19-inch machined aluminum wheels. Here's the key fob for the vehicle. It's your typical new General Motors key fob design. Not bad looking, but you do have your lock, unlock, and your remote engine start. Very convenient. As well as your power lift gate, and you have to press on the button 2 times, and your panic alarm. This exterior color of the Terrain here is known as the graphite gray metallic, and it comes equipped with smart key access on all 4 doors of the vehicle now. And you also do have a perforated jet black leather interior with contrast stitching on the side bolsters here, as well as your power adjustable driver seat, and with power recline as well as power lumbar. Alright, stepping on inside of the new Terrain, you'll find that the step-in height is really low, in fact one of the lowest in the class, and there's pretty good ease of ingress as well as egress for the Terrain. And you'll find that the interior has also been significantly improved over its predecessor. Just the quality as well as the design is much better than the last generation. And the last generation was just getting very long in the tooth. You do have push button ignition, just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start, of course. What you're hearing there is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, full leather wrapped steering wheel. And coming to your transmission, we do have General Motors' new 9-speed automatic transmission, and you have the new push button and gear selector. Not a huge fan of where they placed it, as it can be a little hard to reach and the ergonomics aren't that great here, but just go drive like that. And for reverse, it displays your rear view camera as well as your guidance lines and trajectory. And you can also go for a surround vision camera system if you would like on the top of the line Denali trim. Just go push for park, easy as that. And you also have manual shiftability as well. Just going to turn on the headlights as well as the hazards. Just going to check out the exterior of the Terrain here. Automatic driver's side window. Up the hood and check out the engine bay. Heated exterior side mirrors with side LED turn signal indicators, and you also have blind spot detection. "19-inch aluminum alloy wheels. Coming up front here, you'll find LED headlights as well as your LED daytime running lights, and you also do have projector fog lights down below. Love the new sculpted front grille on the Terrain. Powering the Terrain here is going to be your optional engine. It's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's also borrowed from the Equinox, and it produces 252 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 260 pound-feet of torque at 2,000 RPM, with EPA estimates being a reasonable 22 in the city and 28 on the highway. For the Terrain here, you can also go with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, of course, and your other powertrains for this vehicle are going to be a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. That's your base engine, your standard one. And then you can also go for a 1.6 liter turbocharged diesel 4-cylinder engine, which does provide much better fuel economy numbers. If you are looking for the best fuel economy out of the Terrain, you're looking at 28 in the city and 39 on the highway. And it does provide a decent amount of torque too. Now when driving the new 2018 GMC Terrain here, the first thing that you'll notice about when driving this vehicle is just how much more refined the driving nature is over its predecessor. It feels much more buttoned down, but still fairly compliant at the same time, but it certainly doesn't have the smoothest ride quality out of the compact crossover class. It doesn't feel bouncy or anything like that, but you'll notice that it just feels a little bit more precise and a little bit more agile, especially when turning around sharp corners in this vehicle. Now the 9-speed automatic from General Motors that was co-developed with Ford is a much better transmission than the 8-speed from General Motors. Doesn't jerk and it doesn't hesitate to shift like all you'll find in the 8-speed. Much more refined transmission, and it provides smooth, quick, and pretty seamless and consistent shifts here. The optional 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder does provide a sufficient and an adequate amount of power here. There's really no need for more power, but if you want, you could go with that 1.5-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged 4-cylinder, which is pretty decent when it comes to power. But this 2-liter is fairly strong, and you'll find it to be roughly equivalent to many other compact crossovers in the class that do offer optional powertrains, such as the Subaru Forester as well as the Ford Escape. And I'm very impressed with the 2-liter here, much better than the V6 that it replaces. This is General Motors' newer steering wheel design language, and it's pretty functional and fairly intuitive. On the left, you'll find your cruise control buttons with your heated steering wheel button, as well as on the right, you'll find your controls for the 4.2-inch driver information display, as well as your voice recognition and your Bluetooth phone controls. Your audio controls are also mounted on the back of the steering wheel here. We also do have your dual zone automatic climate control with your adjustable fan speed levels and your temperatures by the dials, and you can also sync the temperatures too, of course, and you have your different zones. Coming down here, you have a little storage cubby with the USB charging port, a micro USB charging port, auxiliary input, and a 12-volt power outlet, dual cup holders, 3-stage heated seats for the driver and the front passenger here, and you have your downhill descent control, and then you could turn your snow mode on or off by this dial right here. It'll display up on the little screen here whether it's on or off. And we also do have your center console storage, which will find plenty of storage inside of here, very deep. And you'll also find 2 USB charging ports down there. Glove box compartment. And you also do have a little storage cubby located right above the glove box. Let's get to the main head unit here, and this is your GMC IntelliLink system, and this is an 8-inch diagonal touchscreen display here, and this is your optional head unit. Your standard head unit on the Terrain is going to be a 7-inch touchscreen display, but most of them are going to be fitted with this 8-inch, and it's been completely revamped, the interface, and you'll find that the biggest improvement that they made is on the display. It's much clearer and crisper when it comes to the quality of the display. This is your main menu right here, and you have all of your different audio sources, including AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, and you have your sound settings. So there are many different sound settings that you could change, from the bass, mid-range, treble, fader, balance. And you also have a direct tune feature, which is very convenient when you don't want to tune through all the different radio stations, and you have your presets on the top right here. And you can also tag songs if you would like. This back button, a short cut back button, is also very convenient when switching in between the different menus here. We have your phone. You can hook up your Bluetooth phone, view your recent contact, or view your recent calls, and view your contacts as well, and you can hook up all your contacts onto the system. And then you can also hook up multiple Bluetooth devices onto the system if you would like. You also have your exterior temperature readout down there, as well as your digital clock in the lower right hand corner. Then we have your users, which you could create different driver profiles on the system here. Settings that you could change, like the time and date, language, phones, Wi-Fi networks. You also have Wi-Fi hotspot with 4G LTE connection, and your sound settings that you could change, as well as the display. Apps like your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as your vehicle settings like the rear seat reminder, climate and air quality, collision and detection systems, which you could change, like the lane change alert. You could turn that on or off if you would like, or the park assist, and the lighting, comfort and convenience. Then you have your OnStar services, Wi-Fi hotspot, and then your shop where you can download apps onto the system. And then also, instead of the GMC IntelliLink system having the projection feature for the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, instead they're separated into two different menus finally now. The seats in the Terrain are comfortable for the most part. They're decent. However, I would like to see more side bolstering, and thigh support can definitely be a little bit improved. The visibility out of the Terrain is okay. Certainly not the best in the class. There's an okay amount of glass area on the front windows, and seeing out the windshield is pretty easy, but when you get to rearward visibility, it can be a huge problem, especially due to that really small rear window back there. And that's from these floating roof line. Visibility out of the Terrain certainly can be improved, and you'll find that the glass area on the front windows are okay and the windshield is okay, but rearward visibility can be a problem due to that little small rear window back there. And that's from the floating roof design that they put on the new Terrain here, and that can be a huge problem. It's a huge blind spot. And the seats in the Terrain are pretty comfortable for the most part, pretty plush. Not a whole lot of side bolstering, however. Would love to see more of that. And thigh support is okay. Interior quality does follow through in the rear of the Terrain. Plenty of soft touch materials. There's also a decent amount of legroom back here, as well as headroom. And you'll also find dual map pockets, rear air vents, 2 USB charging ports, and a 120 volt power outlet down there. And the seats themselves are also quite comfortable back here as well. However, they don't slide forward and aft like how you'll find in the last generation Terrain. And you have a rear center armrest with cup holders, and the headrests are only adjustable for the outboard positions here. You can also go for the Skyscape sunroof, which definitely lets a lot more light into the cabin here, and you can also opt for heated rear seats for the outboard positions. All right. You also have a power liftgate. The rear seats also do fold down 60-40 split, and they do fold flat. And you can do it by the levers back here. Very convenient. So with its new aggressive styling, intuitive technology, and plenty of features available, the 2018 GMC Terrain is an excellent choice for a compact crossover.